I'm Gemma Allen, here at our studio at the New York Stock Exchange. This is theCUBE with NYSE Wired, and we are talking to some of the leaders who are going to take the stage at the AI Agent Conference here in New York in May. Joining me now is Maor Ezer, CEO and co-founder of ai.work. Welcome, Maor.
Thank you, Gemma. Great to be here. What an exciting venue.
For sure, right? A lot of noise behind us here today.
A lot of money and action happening.
A red day in the markets, but look. Okay, so fill me in. ai.work, to those of us who may not be familiar with the company, what exactly do you do? What problem are you solving for?
Yeah, today about 45% of internal workflows in enterprise. I know it's not as fancy as changing the world, but 45% of internal workflows in enterprise are service-oriented. So these are basically employees that need certain stuff from IT, from HR, from procurement, from finance, and today it's fully manual. So what we're doing is we're building AI workers that can basically fulfill a lot of the internal service. So take IT help desk. Instead of you having to submit a ticket and waiting 3 days for someone to answer you, and then a human needs to take care of that, we now have built complex agentic technology that can take that request right there from the ticket that was created in ServiceNow, for example, and operate that ticket like a human being, aligned to policy, fully governed, with all the bells and whistles, and fully execute that ticket.
So essentially create like a record of the intersection where an employee works as a system within a company and also learn something from those patterns and those behaviors, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, of course, we do put in some learning and we understand the different ways, but we're very focused on the execution of the need of the employee first.
So tell me a little about the space you're entering from a competitive perspective. A lot of SaaS players are doing a little bit of this themselves. Like you mentioned, ServiceNow, Workday, other IT, help desk, ticketing systems.
Yeah.
Are you coming in to replace an incumbent, or are you coming in to work next alongside them?
That's a good question. Look, I think AI in the last couple of years, specifically in the last year, has kind of sent everybody thinking, what do we do with our every vendor is thinking, what do we do, right? They're stressed. They're even more stressed than the guys down here, right? And they're trying to understand what's going on in the market, and there is a big shift. There is a shift that we haven't seen in our generation yet as big, maybe on-premise to cloud, but this is like 10 times more. And I don't think it's about me replacing ServiceNow, or ai.work, I'm sorry, replacing ServiceNow. I think it's more about the evolution of the enterprise and what we really need in the enterprise to solve said problem, right? But yes, we do take a lot of the business logic in servicing the person and automating that out of the incumbent software, and it's a very noisy market.
For sure. I mean, the term agentic, it feels like it's become somewhat of a buzz term, right? A catch-all. It has a lot of different connotations all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know, from your perspective, really though, it's about pattern recognition, about being able to better the process, right? One agent can really have multiple minds in terms of what it learns, how it adjusts and reiterates. Talk me through like the technology side of this from your perspective in terms of what you're building from a tech layer.
Yeah, this is a new art. I have to say that every couple of weeks, we look at, let's say, a use case that was run by one of our customers or something that we are experimenting with, and we're just surprised every time, like of the results. This is like someone gave you a really nice kind of playground and you can now build whatever you want. So this technology is, you know, you hear a lot about Agentic because it's just this new toy or this new life-changing technology that everybody can shape in a little bit of a different way in how they execute on top of it. And that's the beautiful thing. And I think we've built a full Agentic system, multi-agent, context, everything you hear, all the buzzwords. But it's really interesting to see an AI worker receive a task and then call up another agent, and that agent executes one piece of the task. And you don't need it to understand the full context, right, of what it's operating. And then another skill, what we call agent, to do something, and then do some validation, and all these pieces, and you see it orchestrating this complex workflow. It's just mind-blowing.
I want to talk to you about context, but before we go there, in terms of the IT or ticketing, broadly speaking, that experience, right? We've all had experiences where you log a ticket for something that seems basic, takes days to get a response, whether it's about your pension plan or your access to an application from home, whatever it is, right? We've all been there. But a lot of that work, it's scripted. You're following, humans in responding to help desks are following a script, right? How do you see the role of humans playing out as companies like yours and products like this become more and more successful? Like, where do you think that capacity will go? So
let's break it down for a second. Is it scripted? If it was scripted, then there would be software for it, right? I don't have to have a sales call with a lead and go file it in the cabinet and write it on a piece of paper. I just spoke with Gemma, right? I have a CRM that solved that problem for me. There is a reason that this problem is not solved. The scripted, what's called like the if this then that or deterministic automation, did not solve the problem. And what we're seeing with Agentic is kind of that new way of reasoning and thinking and using kind of the decision making that a human would use to execute said workflow, right? So it's not that scripted in terms of that manner. And what's going to happen with the humans is the most interesting piece, right? And I do this all day. We're seeing the IT AI worker, Henry, that we just launched. We're seeing him handle becoming a top performer in the team, number 2 or number 1 even in probably 60 days.
Wow.
So imagine that you have a team of hundreds of people and suddenly you have this new AI worker that is top performer fast. Like, would you fire your top performing employee? No. But what's really interesting is, yes, the world will change, not even related to us. The world will change and human roles will change. And some of the roles we're doing didn't exist 10 years ago, right? So it's okay. But we're seeing a huge trend of a lot of employees, if you take IT, for example, that are actually stepping in. They're training AI. They're starting to build AI workflows and agents. And suddenly they have a new skill. They're even more valuable to the organization now that they've reskilled. So I don't think it's about AI here to replace. I think it's about AI just move the entire kind of platform for skills in the organization. Some of it the AI will take, some of it humans will take new skills that we didn't think about.
So Henry, he is learning a lot about different employee experiences. He is becoming a mastermind in repeat problems. He is seeing possibly the same trends, the same frustrations time and time again, right? And that data is powerful.
Absolutely.
It's powerful in a number of settings. How do you think about the transferable longer term opportunity for a company like this? Like, where do you see this headed?
I think that's the beautiful thing, because right now companies that want to do change management, for example, and they want to swap ServiceNow for whatever, for Freshservice, it's very hard because everything is already embedded and it takes a long while to change up software. But if you look at what's happening, since the business logic is being extracted from these platforms and now it's shaped into AI, now the underlying systems can be changed faster or tomorrow when you do this. And also that content now, the AI starts becoming a more dynamic brain. So like you're saying, it ran app access control requests 1 million times. It now really can build the policy for the company much better than we built it before on some document in Confluence. This is the policy. Now it's a dynamic policy. It learned, oh, the CEO has asked for access for this app. Oh, give the CEO whatever they want, right? Ooh, new piece in the policy. I've learned something, right? I just gave an edge case, but it's a really interesting place where we're moving as humans who manage workflows very statically to these dynamic, smarter workflows.
So your buyer persona for this, you work mostly with IT environments, correct?
Right.
But it has a lot of transferable opportunity. What sort of profile of customer are you targeting? Is it SMB, large enterprise, and what sort of stage or maturity are they already at?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a good question that we deal with every day. As much as I'd love to service SMB and mid-market, because that's kind of like, where we grew up, quote unquote, but you just see a direct correlation between, one, the maturity, and second, the amount of tickets and employees. The volume, as much as the volume is bigger, when you solve a problem, it's the same problem for a small company and a big company, right? It may be more complex in a big company, but when you solve a problem and you take on the ticket load, for example, and you start putting chunks of it autonomously, that saves them a lot more money and time and productivity to their employees if they're a bigger company. So to your question, we cater more to enterprise. Let's call it large mid-market to enterprise. And we just see them a little bit more mature with their tech stack too. So if you know how to buy enterprise software, if you bought Workday and you bought ServiceNow, you understand what it means to implement software. And sometimes, the SMBs, they just want a quick fix. Right? So one, the problem is not as painful in SMB. Second, they're not as mature in implementing software as an organization, not, of course, as individuals. So we cater to the enterprise. We focus a lot on CIOs that are already doing AI implementations, that the teams, you're probably going to ask me this, so I'll say it in advance, but the teams, the frontline workers, they've been the hurdle right now to stalling AI adoption, in part, right? The technology, everything, right? But management want to push it sometimes, and the workers, they just don't have an immediate urgency to do it. And what we're seeing is the better organizations that adapt and transform faster are the ones that management and frontline workers are very aligned, and then it just goes fast. Right?
I heard this week, I hear it all the time now. AI might not necessarily take your job, but if you don't use AI in your job,
exactly,
you're putting yourself at a much bigger risk, right? You need to use it to your advantage, you have to harness it in some way.
At the end of, we saw what happened in Amazon yesterday, right? 16,000 people were let go, for various reasons, but you would never let go to the person that is currently doing AI transformation and is leading the pack on that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what people need to think about.
So right now, this is employee to company. It's solving for tickets between me as an employee to my employer, right?
Correct.
Seems as though there's huge amounts of opportunity for external ticketing too.
Correct.
Customer to customer, client, to customer. Support across the board, because those tickets are often very high stress. Rationale, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about the product map. Where are you going with this?
So customer support is less on our product roadmap. It's actually, and it might sound funny, but it's actually an easier use case because it relies less on complex enterprise systems, and it's more kind of what's called RAG, right? Just answer, or I need to change my ticket for the flight, right? And it can automate that process pretty quick. So that's a more mature AI market, customer support. We're very focused on the internal service. So we're focused right now on IT. We're doing builds for customers that are in procurement, in HR operations. That's a great place to start as well. Huge value in finance, in those worlds.
These conversations are prospective customers of yours, especially from a practice perspective. Talk to me about the discovery and the execution.
Yeah.
If I hire ai.work to automate or to bring Henry in and lead the charge for my ticketing in, let's just say, a HR space, how long does it take to roll this out? How plug and play is this?
Yeah, it's a good question. So what we do is first of all, we run our discovery agent. what we do is you've got a huge ticket backlog, or like old tickets that are that have already been finished, and those are that's a gem for data for AI, because there's so much information. What are the requests? Was it handled? How long it took? Comments, right? There's a whole textual base. So what we do is when we start with a customer, day one, give me all your ticket history. Let me scan it. We run our agent. It reclassifies, recategorizes all the tickets, and then it looks to our platform, the integrations we have in place, the use cases we've already done, and it comes back with a roadmap for potential agentic automation.
Oh, wow.
And then we sit with the customer, all right, here's the roadmap, here's the low-hanging fruit, high volume, high potential for automation, let's go, right? And we start going one by one, and we're seeing, I want to be, right, like, not too enthusiastic with the ROI, but we're seeing 3 to 6 months, we're seeing the AI worker become number one. We're seeing us handle about 30% of ticket load autonomously.
Wow.
And then another X% assisted.
Wow. So, Maor, this isn't your first rodeo.
Yeah, it
This is your third company.
Correct.
Talk me through a little bit about your own journey, your founder journey, I guess, which always interests our audience. You said you just moved here to New York from Tel Aviv this year.
Yeah,
You're doubling down on ai.work.
I wanted the coldest winter in New York history, and here I am.
You wanted to make snowmen.
I just wanted a really nice coat, and I didn't have a reason to buy one in Israel, so we moved here. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we moved here, building out the go-to-market and the business here. I wanted to be closer to the customers.
Okay.
One of the things that I learned the most in my entire career is, yes, you can build amazing companies in other territories, and there is incredible talent, but being close to the customer that you're selling to, nothing beats it. You just understand the culture and the mindset of the company or even the country that you're in better. I myself, this is a third company. I had a music licensing marketplace, believe it or not, back in
Are we talking
2008.
like Napstar like days, or?
Yeah, but more licensing for
Okay.
like if you need music for a commercial use.
Wow.
Like in a video or whatever, or here playing in the background. And my last startup, ABBI, was sold to WalkMe. WalkMe is a digital adoption platform. We joined pretty early on. And this was back in 2017, early 2017 or 2016. I might have been messing it up. And I spent the last 7.5 years there.
Okay, wow.
I ran the mobile line of business, and then I was CMO of the company, and we ended up growing the company tremendously into a NASDAQ IPO. And
we won't talk about that.
And it was acquired a year ago or a year and a half ago by SAP.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I've seen a lot of internal use cases.
Sure.
And that's where kind of we came up. Me and Nir, my partner, he was also at WalkMe for 12 years.
Okay.
First employee, VP R&D and CTO. And we just saw how SaaS is breaking right in front of our eyes. So many apps, so much confusion, so much complexity in workflows. And knowing AI, and we were deep into it, we just said, there is a better solution now. There is an unlock of technology, and let's do it.
Well, it certainly feels like the Wild West, right? So you've raised a seed round.
Correct.
Are you heading towards a Series A? What does the next 12 months? You're growing the team in New York, I assume, to have some company on the ground.
We're growing the team, and we will head into the A round soon enough. It's going really, knock on wood, it's going good. We did a seed round of $10 million. We were lucky enough to have amazing investors like A-Star, Lul here in the US, Lul Ventures in Israel, First Minute Capital out in the UK, along with some amazing people that joined the round and some amazing funds that joined the round. And yeah, we'll soon do the A, and we'll keep growing. We just want to fully fulfill the vision of the AI worker. That's the focus. I'll be honest, I'm not focused on raising capital. I'm not focused on anything else, and just seeing agentic AI and the AI worker really do what it's supposed to do, it's a hard challenge, right?
Sure.
It's not easy really convincing a company, an enterprise, to kind of step back and give processes to AI to handle end to end, even if there are guardrails and governance and human in the loop and everything. So that's where I'm focused. I want to see those hard ROI metrics. I want to be able to say to you, you know, in a year's time, sit here and say, our AI workers are operating IT all over the world right now.
Amazing. A world-class product,
Imagine
right?
Henry's CV. He's working in the best companies in the world.
Henry's going to be in demand. Well, you're going to be speaking at the AI Agent Conference in New York in May. I think you mentioned you might have some of your Henry fans join you on stage.
We're going to bring in great leaders. I'm going to host a panel about autonomous AI and AI workers in enterprise. We're going to have great speakers. I won't mention names yet. We'll publish them next week. But we're going to have leaders from top companies, from tech, from accounting, from different sectors of the market, maybe oil and gas too.
Wow.
And you'll see kind of how everyone is tackling it in a different setup, but seeing those ROI levels of just driving autonomous AI.
Well, we look forward to it. We'll be there too.
It's going to be an amazing event.
Absolutely.
I hope you're going to be there.
Oh, we'll be there. theCUBE and NYSE Wired will be there. We're covering it with Simon. So listen, Maor, thank you so much for coming on theCUBE.
Thank you so much.
Keep us informed, you know, as things progress for you. We certainly look forward to seeing what Henry can do in this world.
Absolutely.
Thank you
so much for having me.
I'm Gemma Allen, coming to you from our studio here at the New York Stock Exchange. This is NYSE Wired with theCUBE. We are talking to some of the leaders who are taking the stage at the AI Agent Conference in New York in May. Thanks so much for watching.
Great.